Hey guys, Erica Sakosho here with Practical Biz Podcast. And today I wanted to talk about the recession and some considerations that you might want to think about as we head into 2023. What do I know about the recession? Well, I'm not an economist. However, I can tell you that I started my first business, my first childcare business in 2008. Everyone thought we were crazy. Family members tried to talk me and Chris out of it, but we knew we had a solid plan, and we just saw the growth opportunities that were available at that time. So one recession, then we moved to 3 years of a pandemic, and now we're heading into the next recession. So inconsistency in the economy is something that I know about very well. And I think that for business owners that are in big business, they are strategizing. And if you're a small business, you need to do the same. Let me just pull up some of the headlines for you on my cell phone here. So this is posted a day ago. CNN talks about what the wave of the tech layoffs tell us about the economy. Meta, aka Facebook, because that's what we all know it as, is beginning large-scale layoffs this week. Next one, New York Times. Meta is said to plan significant layoffs this week. Silicon Valley is telling us something about the recession and what is to come. Fortune 500. So there's a headline. So all of the big companies are getting ready, but are you? So let's think about what are some ways that we can get strategic. So the first thing is many big businesses are moving to automation. Thanks, D-Rock. Moving to automation. And so that means that they're faster than us in many cases and can deliver goods and services faster than we can. Well, that's been the experience. I'm not sure if that's going to continue to be the experience. I do think that we may have a little bit of an advantage in that area where, especially if you are selling within a 5 to 20 mile radius, you could maybe hand deliver something to a customer that obviously isn't being done through these large corporations. Or when you send out an email to your customer, you can make it very personalized, as opposed to, we all know those robotic emails that say, "Hey, Erica," and then, the rest of the body of that message is, sent out to 2,000 customers. So I think you can use that in your advantage, as they're taking away people from doing business with people, and everything is becoming very robotic. So that gives us as small business owners the opportunity to still keep the people in business. Many people, some of the trends that we see are many people are staying at home or staying closer to home, doing staycations. How do we use that to our benefit? We certainly value having less stuff. We certainly value freedom from debt, and not having, to keep up with the Joneses. So that has changed from my generation to many of yours, which I think is a fantastic change. But how can we make people more comfortable at home? What goods, services can we use to tap into that market who are staying closer? So you have to think about that. And if you're not offering those types of things, you should be. What kind of, I know, like, we work with Chris. She offers a mobile paint party where you can have just a couple friends come over to your house, and you can have a paint party there, or meet at a local restaurant and, paint with your girlfriends, have a baby shower, just things that are close to home that are still fun and affordable. So I think tapping into those resources is something great that you can do, and will help you bring in other streams of revenue. Millennials. So let's talk about them. So many business owners are Gen X, Gen Z, baby boomers, and they always kind of rag on millennials. Well, guess what? Millennials now have moved into the position of having the most purchasing power of any other generation at this time. So whether you like them or don't like them, you better get on board, and you have to at least understand them. Understand the way that they make purchases, understand the way that they communicate. Most of them don't want your phone call. They want you to text them. They love that, hey, your appointment is tomorrow. See you then. Make sure you bring your bathrobe, right? So all of those types of things are the best ways to connect with millennials, but you have to understand them. They like personalization, but they also like that automation. They like a mix of the two. Delivering to customers. So let's talk about that. You have to have your services and goods available online. Whether you are service-based and you can book online, or you're selling in the retail space, you have to have everything available online. You have to think about how you can take advantage of slow times. Like if your business is not busy right now, how you can take advantage of looking at your website and fixing it, making sure that you're optimized, making sure you have backlinks. So let's think about that. So do you have a blog? So if your business is slowed down a little bit, can you create a blog, a Pinterest page, a YouTube? Also, when was the last time you checked to see if there were any broken links in your niche that you can, connect your website to? Or unclaimed dimensions? Do you have any of those? So if you type in your business, does your business name show up in the local newspaper for an event that you did last year, but it's not linked to your website? So these are different things that you can do during your slow time during the recession to build more traffic to come to your website. Some other things is, can you write a article on your niche, on your specialty for a local newspaper and see if you can get spotlighted? That's a great way to kind of drum up business during a recession without paying for the advertising. Also, resource pages. So I'm in the childcare industry, so there are many resource pages for childcare providers to become part of, that many of them don't cost anything, or they're really very minimal. So during a time where you don't have a lot of money for an advertising budget, there are lots of free ways to connect with customers that not only drive customers to your website, but also prompt them to give you a call. And convenience is expected now. Like that used to be the, oh, by the way, we can deliver or you can buy online. Now it's expected. It's like, if you're not doing business online, you're not doing business. Again, whether it's booking your services or selling goods. Other ideas for backlinks too, I think, and Derek's here, he's not on camera, obviously, but where to buy. So suppliers. So if you have a wholesaler, they should have on their website where to buy their goods. And even if you do business with other small business owners, you guys should have links that are connecting to each other's pages to kind of have people explore, both of your businesses. And association links. If you're a part of a chamber of commerce or any other business association, Better Business Bureau, all of those, see if there's a way to link your website to their website. So if somebody's going on the Better Business Bureau and they're looking for a childcare provider, make sure that they can go right there and just click on the link and get right to your website. So these are all different ways that during a recession that you can really close any gaps in your marketing strategy. Again, most of them don't cost anything. So I would recommend that. My next thing is think about payment options. Who is sick of the credit cards? Who is sick of debt? I know vendors are sick of paying super high fees for processing. I know I am. 3% is a lot of money. And if you think about, especially a business like childcare, you could take in $20,000, $30,000 a week or even more. Do you want to pay 3% on that? You don't want to pay 3% on that. So looking for different options for your customers to pay you without you paying so much in processing or interest rates, and the same for them. So some of the new options that customers are using are Zelle, which is, direct payment from their bank to your bank. There's Cash App, there's Venmo, there's Square. Some of those have small fees, but again, compared to 3% processing fee with a credit card, as opposed to 0.5% or 1.75% is a major difference, especially when you're doing high volume in sales. So think about those options, especially if you're a really small business and you do, fairs and events and things like that maybe aren't in the traditional brick and mortar, you better have more than one type of way for customers to pay you. And certainly don't be an all cash business, because most people I know don't even carry cash anymore, including me. And if I do, usually my cash ends up in my teenagers' pockets. So, let's just be real about that. The next thing I want to talk about, which is my last tip, we made this one really a short episode for you guys today. Just wanted to get right to the content, is strategic planning. Now, if you have been in business for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, think about when was the last time you did a strategic planning meeting with your team? Do you even know where you're going to be in a year from now or 2 years from now? And you don't if you don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, I hate to say, but out of the 20 listeners that are listening right now, 10 of you aren't going to be in business in a year or 2 years. You have to be strategic about what you're doing. You've got to write it down. What partnerships can you get into with wholesalers, retailers, other businesses? I know in our field, childcare, we recommend other centers. If we're full, we send customers to other programs that we know are similar to ours, and vice versa. So school age, we get a huge amount of referral from other pre-K programs that stop their programming at 5 years old. We probably have at least 10 programs that, I don't want to use the word funnel, but kind of a sales funnel that costs me nothing, that generate new business for me just because we're very well known as a high quality after school programming. So how are you doing that for your business? That's one strategy. The other strategy is, are you looking at your financial reports? Do you even have financial reports? Are you using a QuickBooks or a software like we talked about with Mr. Ritchie a couple episodes ago? If you're still using a notebook, a paper, a pen, a napkin, get with it, okay? You need reports. You need to know what your expenses are. You need to know what income is coming in and where that income is coming from, because sometimes we keep working harder but on the wrong things, right? So you have to know what your profit margin is on certain services and items that you're selling. And if the profit margin isn't good, stop selling it, right? But we're still doing it. Oh, well, I make sales on it. Well, if you only make 5% on it and you're making 40 and 50% on other items, that's where you need to spend your time, right? So you have to use strategy. And now more than ever, you have to look at reducing your costs. At all costs, that's probably number one, because you may not be able to increase your sales or frequency at this point, but you have to be able to reduce your cost. And some of the ways you do that is not always like these big companies go right to get rid of their people because everybody is so, disposable. Well, in small business, our staff are not disposable. And so you have to think of everything that you can do to keep your people through those weeks. And I'll say during the pandemic, during recession, I have not laid off anybody. The only time in 14 years we ever had to lay anybody off is when the governor shut down childcare across the state, and pulled everybody's license. And I'm proud of that. And I have 42 staff. I don't have a small team. I have a big team. And I do everything to make sure that they can keep the roof over their head, get gas in the gas tank, feed their children. And if you're a small business who has a team that is quote unquote like family, because right, doesn't every company say that, then you better treat them as such. And so that means maybe you look at what talents and skills that they have that they can help you with that maybe you're outsourcing right now. Because that's where I would cut my stuff, is outsourcing agencies, maybe bring it in-house, right? It might be temporary. Maybe it's for a year or two. But if it saves you money and saves you jobs and keeps your employees, it's worth the move. And sometimes for the next, year or two, maybe it's not even about making a profit, but just staying stable. Just making sure you at least have enough income coming in to maintain your business, pay your bills. I know that's not a growth strategy. That's a staying in business strategy, right? Making sure that your income is at least equal to what you're paying out. If you look at the growth part, again, go back to what opportunities available, what new ways can you bring in income. And if you don't have a team to strategize with, maybe you work with a business coach, right? I know, yeah, easy for you to say, Erica, you're a business coach. You just talked about, not outsourcing. Listen, what I can save you if you can just do something a little bit more effectively, efficiently, if I can bring you 20 strategies on ways to connect with customers that don't cost you any money, I've paid for myself. The other thing is, are you networking with colleagues? Are you part of a chamber of commerce? Are you out in those networking groups? Those don't cost you any money. If you're out in many of the networking groups, they don't cost you any money. You got to get out there. You got to get out from behind your desk and market your business. So those are just some really quick strategies on how to prepare, because everybody else is preparing. So don't stick your head in the sand. Don't be afraid. Recession could be a good thing. Again, just be ready for it, make smart moves, and look for growth opportunities. That's it. Have a good night. Bye.